Hello. Welcome to another video here at Controversy at its finest. Today we will be discussing the origins of Planned Parenthood, and more specifically its founder, Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger, who was originally known as Margaret Higgins, was born on September 14th, 1879. She attended Claverack College. On October 16th, 1916, in Brownsville, New York, Planned Parenthood was founded by Margaret Sanger. Now, what particularly about her I would like to discuss is not primarily the workings of Planned Parenthood, even though I believe and would even dare say that for a fact the actions of Planned Parenthood are evil. I would like to address this as unbiased as possible. What I would like to discuss is the motivation for Sanger's founding of the organization. At the most basic level, and quite obviously, yes, Sanger's intentions with the first birth control clinic and Planned Parenthood as a whole wants to provide legal way to have an unborn child be removed from the mother. Here is a quote from Sanger that is often quoted by pro-choice advocates. Quote, "No woman can call herself free who does not own and control her own body." End quote. Now, the implications of this to me sound horrific, but for those who desire the implications of this sounds perfectly okay. However, there are less prevalent quotes of Sanger's that are either willingly ignored or widely unknown, such as this quote. "A free race cannot be born of slave mothers." Now, this of course can be explained by saying, oh, he was just advocating for slaves to be freed. Now, I would agree with you if it were not for the fact that even by the time Sanger was born, the Civil War had ended 30 years prior. Therefore, it followed that the only thing she could possibly be talking about is that free people cannot be born of black mothers. If this is true, I am compelled to believe that Sanger was against the increase in black population of the United States, and perhaps the world for that matter. This is only backed by yet another quote of hers, which is as follows. "Eugenics is the most adequate and thorough avenue to the solution of racial, political, and social problems." There, she said it right up front. She wants the human race to be guided to be bred in a way that to her would purify the population of the earth, and furthermore, she believed that this would solve the problems of a country. On whichever side of the political compass you lie, that is just an evil way of thinking. Now, I hear many advocates for Planned Parenthood and Margaret Sanger, by extension, defend her by explaining that she is only expressing her fears of what people would think, which, if that is the case, would be a rational fear and response. However, if one quote was not enough for you, here are a few more quotes. "We want a world freer, happier, cleaner. We want a race of thoroughbreds." And, "How are we meant to breed a race of humans thoroughbreds unless we follow the same plan? We must make this country into a garden of children instead of a disorderly backlot overrun with human weeds." End quote. Now, perhaps you may think that when she says human weeds, she's only speaking of the sickness and disease, and really just wants to help cure sickness and disease, obviously. However, by this quote, that is clearly not the case. And I quote, "Colored people are like human weeds and are to be exterminated." End quote. So she said it herself. She believes that people of color are like weeds meant to be exterminated to create a perfect garden, so to speak, of white people, who she calls thoroughbreds. And before I get to my last point, don't think that this is all she said on the matter. Here is yet another quote. "Covertly invest into non-white areas, invest into ghetto abortion clinics, help raise money for free abortions in primarily non-white areas. Perhaps abortion clinic syndicates through North America that primarily operate in non-white areas and receive tax support should be promoted." There you have it. She specifically advocates for abortion clinics to be in primarily non-white areas, which you will see that this holds up well, as the majority of abortion clinics even today can be found in primarily black communities. Okay, so even if you think racism and the extermination and limitation of the black population of America is okay, perhaps you can still follow the teachings of Margaret Sanger with your head held high. And yet there are more quotes to be shown, which show not only her hatred for the minority, but also her hatred for families, children, and freedom. Quote, "No woman shall have the legal right to bear a child without a permit for parenthood." End quote. So not only does she hate the black population, she believes that women must be permitted to have children by the government. This is to even the most racist people, and have a hatred for minorities. It is horrific. And even on the political left, this is a quote that directly contradicts their own reasoning when they say things like "my body, my choice." These are not the end of quotes, which reveal Singer's hatred for family, as these quotes reveal. Quote, "The greatest sin in the world is bringing children into the world," end quote. And also, quote, "The most merciful thing that a large family does to one of its infant members is to kill it," end quote. These truly show the horrific beliefs and morals of Sanger, and also not only is she a racist, self-professed murderer of infants, she is also a hypocrite, as she herself had 3 children. So, those are the origins of Planned Parenthood. It was never meant for a woman to have the rights to prevent themselves from bearing children. It was never about situations like rape and incest, and it was certainly never about providing more freedoms to the black communities. It was founded as a legal way for black population to inadvertently control its own population, as a form of eugenics, and by various other quotes to forcefully exterminate the black population of America and to steal the rights of every family. I hope I have shed some light on the origins of Planned Parenthood. I will of course advise you to do your own research and come to your own conclusions, whether it is by the evidence that I have shared with you or by your own eyes, as it is your responsibility as a human being and a viewer of this channel to think independently. With that, I will see you in the next video.